Republican State Representative Nate Schatzline of Fort Worth. Thank you so much and welcome back to Ion Politics.
Oh, Jack, always an honor to be on anytime.
Thank you so much. So, first, your reaction to the Texas House Democratic Caucus, which announced today its demands for their return to the Texas Capitol. First, your reaction.
Yeah, when I was reading through their statement, I find it hilarious that they're trying to put demands on us. Look, I've been saying this from the very beginning. There is no deals to be made. We are going to pass President Trump's one big, beautiful map, whether they like it or not. It's not a matter of, if we pass it, it's when. And the reality is I think Texans are seeing right through their play right now. We've got disaster relief that, Texans are desperately awaiting right now, as well as veterans are being taxed out of their home. Young families are struggling with property taxes. Look, the real issues that we came to govern for are on the table, and Texas House Democrats have absolutely nothing to stand on. They have abandoned Texas, abandoned their seats, abandoned their responsibilities, and there's no deal to be made here.
So let me ask you about that because, they say they are standing up for their constituents who they represent. And they say, yes, these issues are important, but why do they have to be mixed in with redistricting, the new congressional maps? What do you say to that?
Sure. I would say right now we are at risk of losing our nation in the next 2 years if we do not maintain the House as a Republican body, the U.S. House, I'm saying. And the reality is that the Democrats have already said exactly what they want to do. They want to impeach our great president, President Donald J. Trump, which is going to keep us from being able to see through the America First agenda that America, by and large, voted for, especially in Texas during this last election cycle. And so we understand that that's on the ballot. When we look at these congressional seats, we already know California, the hypocrisy of Governor Gavin Newsom to come out and say, well, we're gonna make zero Republican seats when almost 40% of California voted for President Donald J. Trump. I mean, you've got Massachusetts, they already have zero Republican seats. You have Governor Pritzker, where the Democrats have been partying it up with Pritzker in Illinois, where he's saying, well, guess what? We're gonna gerrymander even more. Well, they have 45% of their constituency voted for President Trump, and yet only 17% of their delegation is Republican in their U.S. congressional delegation. So I think when we're looking at this, the reality that Texas Democrats are doing the will of the people is just absolutely blatantly false. They are standing in the way of us actually doing the will of the people and what Americans expected President Trump to do when he got elected in 2024.
So let me ask you, because I've seen some other Republican lawmakers chiming in on this. I saw some representatives say no more chairmanships, no more vice chairmanships for the Democrats. I've seen as far as the number of congressional seats. I spoke with Governor Abbott the other day. He confirmed that, yes, they are looking at expanding that number. And then as far as the Texas House and that state House and state Senate seats, there are some Republicans say that needs to be on the table and redraw those districts. So where are you on all that?
So here's the deal. Democrats, without a doubt, are abandoning their duty here in Texas. However, we are a Republican body in the Texas House. It is on us to actually bring the penalties and bring them home. And so what I mean by that is the fines are simply not enough. Paying a fine is nothing in comparison to the national news coverage that these Democrats are getting and the fundraising, which I believe is a felony and should be charged as bribery. But that's another subject. The reality is when they come back, let me tell you, they should be stripped of their vice chairmanships. There should be incredibly harsh penalties. They should be stripped of their seniority, which would give Republicans the upper leg when it comes to next session and picking committees so that we can dominate on the legislative scoreboard and make sure that our Texas GOP priorities are passed. It's on Republicans to be tough right now. And historically, Jack, I'll tell you, in past quorum breaks, we haven't been tough. We've let Democrats steamroll us. And so right now, it's on House leadership. I know that I'm ready. Me and my conservative colleagues are ready to go to the floor and push for the fullest extent of punishment, whether that's removing vice chairmanships, whether that's removing seniority, or really backing Governor Abbott and Ken Paxton in the expulsion and removing and vacating stripping them of their seats if they cannot return. And so on to what, Governor Abbott told me as well, nothing's off the table. I think we need to expand not just 5 new Republican seats, but 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, even 10 Republican seats, because what we know to be true is that Democrats are going to come back and they're going to try and do this in Democrat states where they balance out what we've done. And so, Democrats are not used to Republicans going on offense. That's what we're doing right now. And I think there's no better way to get Democrats back in the state of Texas than for us to start some redistricting efforts in the Texas House. I know some really vulnerable seats like Mihaela Plessa's seat in Collin County that we should be looking at and seeing how we turn that into a Republican seat. And there's more just like her seat. Nothing's off the table. It's time to take action now.
And do you expect the governor to actually add this to the special session agenda?
I haven't heard this directly from the governor, but when I was talking to him, I know, and you've seen and you've heard that he is thinking about adding redistricting for the Texas House onto that agenda. I expect, again, I haven't heard this from him, but I expect that when we go into the second special session, which is inevitable, then Texas House redistricting should be on that call. And I can't wait. I think this is not only going to get the Democrats back, but I think even if they do return, we need to redistrict some of those seats because we need to ensure, Jack, that a quorum break like this never happens again.
Republican State Representative Nate Schatzline of Fort Worth. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.